lost when you don't chase it. What you looking at me for?
What's going on, Zip Nation? I know y'all not fully here in effect yet, so we just gonna get this thing started with talking about this versus that just happened. Fellas, did y'all tune in last night? Did y'all tune in for the slow jams, man? What's going on?
I caught some cliff notes. I ain't watching in full because that thing went on way too long. It went on way too long, but
I watched the Twitter, the Twitter sphere.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I said earlier, you could go find the tweet. I said earlier, I think it might have been last year. I said it's nobody on the face of the earth that's beating Earth, Wind, and Fire in the verses.
And you know what's crazy? Earth, Wind, and Fire really was like playing their stuff like they wasn't really in their bag, right? Like they
was playing B-sides and winning.
That's what I'm saying. You can't do that on the verses, dog. You gotta come in high, and then Steve Harvey came in. Oh God damn! Oh, let me tell you, 1973.
Bro, I ain't gonna cap. Steve Harvey get cornier and cornier every time I see him nowadays.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Let me tell y'all, young asses, something. Y'all don't. Old folk, we talk, okay? Y'all talking about stop telling stories. We talk. We get together. You ever been as old folks? Yes, Steve. We've all been.
The more Steve Harvey talk, the more I just be like, bro, Steve, you're rich. You're rich. Just stop. Just stop.
You do not have to talk like this no more, Steve. Please. Carisha, please. You know what though? I'm gonna tell you this. It really was a good time. It really was some real great vibes going on there. So I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really be too mad about it. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been hip to Earth, Wind, and Fire and how deep their bag was. I didn't know the Isley's bag was that deep. I did not know.
It's easy to forget that.
I didn't know that they made Twist and Shout. I didn't know that. I had no clue that was them.
I mean, it was before all our days, but
absolutely. We knew about Between the Sheets. We knew Contagious was coming. We knew that they had some hits. You know what I mean? We knew, but they poured out some hits there. So now we gonna get right into this show, man. Because like I said, the verses was beautiful. And one more thing about verses. Can they please stop this? It's not a competition, it's a celebration nonsense. Listen, certain people, their music gives off celebration, right? Like Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, that really gave celebration because that's what their music is. It gave celebration. Bro, some of y'all, you don't. 2 Chainz and Rick Ross talk about something. Hey, bro, so do I get to double up now? When is halftime? When do I get to double up song? That's not a celebration, bro. It's a competition. And it's okay. It's all right to want to beat your peers at things. It's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But anywho, we got a lot for this show, man. I don't even want to start this show off like this, but we got to go from these great positive vibes to old wrinkled folks crying about things that are not important. And we gotta talk about what time is most what time is most exciting? I don't know why my words coming out all jumbled up there. In sports, we got Gonzaga, Baylor tonight to cap off March Madness. Yeah. Adam Gase, is he the GOAT of the Goblins? Is he the GOAT of being bad? Is the question here. All right. I know some of Zip Nation rock with Tyler, the Creator, so Goblin may not have a negative connotation for y'all. But we mean it in a negative sense here, all right? We're going to look at the NBA standings. And then we got to talk about Paul Pierce because – I mean, Smokey said it best. How you get fired on your day off, man? How you do that? So we're going to get right in this thing. What y'all think, fellas?
Sound good to me.
I'm locked and loaded, man.
So we're going to start this thing off with one of the goofiest sports stories that I've seen in quite some time. Michael Rappaport leaks DMs between him and Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And not only does he leak these DMs, he allegedly calls his lawyer as well because him and KD had a verbal exchange over him calling KD soft, and KD responded with some not so nice words that we cannot say on this show because we're trying to keep it PG. But after those words were said, him and KD started to argue a little bit more, and then at some point, Michael Rappaport is all, help the people in Brooklyn, bro. And KD is like, nah, it's too late. I ain't going. And so KD is fined $50,000, and Michael Rappaport was on Undisputed this morning crying about how what was it, the bakery or the coffee shop that he goes to?
Coffee shop.
Yeah,
The coffee shop that he goes to, they called him a cupcake, and apparently nobody wants to play with his dog at the dog park anymore. So I don't want to start this off, but we got to do it. Fellas, give me your thoughts. Chris, I'm going to let you start this one off, man.
Oh, man. All right. Y'all know how that one time that big bully, he meet his match. Like, it'd be that 8th grade bully, right? Then he go to high school, he back to the bottom of the food chain. Then that 12th grade bully go mess with that 9th grade bully. Yeah. So Michael Rappaport, he stayed trolling people. So I don't understand why he's so sensitive when somebody finally spoke up for themselves and said something back. Because, quite honestly, to me, Michael Rappaport hasn't been relevant since he was in Prison Break. And that's probably my favorite show of all time. And honestly, I know he got stuff since then, since 03, 04. But to be honest, he's not really even relevant anymore. Honestly, just trolling people. That's where he keeps his relevancy. Like, trolling people on air. He trolls LeBron, says, LeBron, you're never going to do this. It's a Clippers town now, baby. LeBron just ignores him. KD finally said, okay, you know what? I'm going to say something to him. And yes, KD may have went overboard, but if we went, let's be honest, facts over acts, we kind of cyberbully a lot too, but not to the extreme when we talk about somebody's wife or stuff like that. And we not redacting people, but we kind of bully a little bit. I mean, when somebody do something to deserve to get bullied. So I mean, to me, it's just a natural thing. You talk about somebody, you got to be ready for them to say something back to you, period.
Oh, Paul Pierce finna catch a hot slice of cyberbullying. No. But I'm messing with you. Guy, what you thinking, man? What you thinking here?
See, man, here's the thing. If we were in a vacuum and it wasn't Michael Rappaport and KD said those things, one, I wouldn't find anything wrong with that person being so upset. I wouldn't find anything wrong with that person leaking the DMs. I wouldn't find anything wrong with that person being upset at KD. I would say what KD did was in the wrong if we're in that vacuum, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to think who's saying it. Michael Rappaport's entire brand is being, I'm the tough-nosed kid from Brooklyn, and I grew up with all the black guys, and that's his entire brand.
I grew up with the black friends. Oh, man.
They love to hit that. They love to hit that one, man.
Go listen to Michael Rappaport was on a podcast a few months ago. I listened to. I think it might have been All the Smoke. But that was like his entire thing. No. That was his entire thing. Like, I'm a tough guy from Brooklyn, and I grew up with all the guys rap and stuff like that, and I know the black kids. That's his entire brand. So you can't skate by off of being presenting yourself a certain way or being a certain thing for the past. When did Do the Right Thing come out? Almost 35 years ago?
Yeah,
that was in the 80s for sure.
That's been his brand the past 30 years. And the one time that you get challenged by a basketball player, that's when you fold and you're on TV crying. And on top of that, it seemed entirely phony. And we've known that Michael Rappaport and Kevin Durant has done multiple projects together in the past.
Hey, listen. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done with it. Ain't nobody turned on no business for somebody said on Twitter. So I don't believe that story at all.
I mean, it might be exposure. It might be exposure.
I don't know. That coffee shop.
Nah. I'm going to say this. Number one, we've already said this before in other incidents that are similar to this. Don't dish out nothing you can't take. You can't sit up here and disrespect Janet Jackson, disrespect other members of the black community. Oh, I'm the tough guy. Oh, I grew up with all the black guys. Oh, I grew up on the corners. Oh, I'm Betsy Stuyvesant. Oh, I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
Now look at you. On TV crying. And again, I don't even have a problem with the whole, if that's your image and persona, but you like, oh yeah, I'm the white dude I was around black people, but I was chill. You know what I mean? Like, we was all chilling. Like, I embrace the culture. I rock with their culture, but I understand I can't be a part of certain parts of it. Sure. This man has overstepped his boundaries in the black culture multiple times.
Right.
This man has not only done that, he's also been on a bunch of yin yang and riffraff as far as talking crazy to people multiple times.
Mhm.
He was on 2K20.
And you vote and call lawyers?
Yeah.
You called lawyer? I have never in my life heard of somebody calling a lawyer over somebody's DMs that it wasn't even a situation where he's like, hey, big dog, like, I'm outside your crib right now. What's up? Like he said, I'm gonna smack you on sight when I see you. So what does that mean, Michael? If you're not prepared to get smacked and you and KD in the same spot, just avoid, bro. Like,
Right.
oh no, I gotta get low. Hey, Kevin, babe, come on, let's go. What's wrong? Kevin is here.
You know,
He is here.
and Gibbs, correct me if I'm wrong. Besides him posting the DMs, couldn't he have just, you know, when you high up there, you making that kind of money, couldn't he have just told somebody, can you give me Kevin Durant's number? And couldn't they have just called?
Right.
Couldn't they have just called each other?
And if you are that level of troll to where like that's your whole career, bro, understand that it comes with the territory. One thing that I give Skip Bayless credit for, and I don't give him credit for much, because he really don't deserve credit for much. But one thing about Skip Bayless, I ain't never seen him on TV. And when I go to the dog park, people that play with my dog, they don't want to play with my dog anymore. Nobody cares, Michael. You 50, bro. You 50. You 50 years old, sitting up here crying because people don't want to play with your dog because they called you a rude name at a coffee shop. Like, come on, dog. Like, all you had to do was, you know what? I make more than you do in like a year in 3 days. I'll go take my business elsewhere.
Right.
Also, Chris, you was being very generous saying he wasn't relevant since prison. I ain't remember, bro, since the Cucamonga Cracker Killer scene in Next Friday. I don't know nothing about bro since then. I couldn't tell you nothing besides Do the Right Thing and Next Friday. That's it. That's all.
I mean, that's because I'm a prison break advocate. Like that was my show coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't remember nothing else about him. But I think we all are in unison here. That, bruh, if you gonna talk that craziness, be prepared to back it up. Right. Be prepared for somebody to bring it back to you.
Or at least, why you have to send it out, post it out? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you know what? And like I said, Skip Bayless, for example, and we're going to move on to our next topic with this, but Skip Bayless said Jalen Suggs, the shot that he hit was 95% luck, 5% skill. And the head coach for North Carolina Central University, Lavelle Moulton, very respected in every coaching circle and all that. He was a coach for Team USA. He said, I saw Jalen hit that shot about 3 out of 5 times after every practice. So apparently that's something that Jalen just does on the regular just because he's like, oh, there's going to come a day where they're going to need me to be running on the goal 35 feet for the win. That's going to be a day. And he was right about that. So with the excitement of that game, and with the excitement that we've seen from both the men's and women's tournament time, I want to ask you guys, what is the most exciting time in sports for you? Is it March Madness? Is it the NBA playoffs? Is it the NFL playoffs? Is it the pennant chase? What is the most exciting time in sports for you and why?
I'm going to have to go with March Madness. Just because, one, that's the only time in sports to where you feel like you can have a conversation or an interaction literally between anybody regarding it. Like, I feel like football, like, in order to understand what's going on in the playoffs, you got to be talking to football fans. In order to know what's going on in the NBA playoffs, you got to be talking to basketball fans. You can talk to literally anybody around March Madness time, and it's a whole bunch of people. They might have went to school at a certain place. They might be involved in pools. They might be involved in a bracket. And they're going to be like, I watch college and I don't even watch professional. Or I watch March Madness and I don't even watch the playoffs. And I think it's, like as far as the actual games going, it's more exciting. Because regardless of how many different ways you slice it, it's not that many times in professional sports where a moment happens as far as like crowning a winner and you're shocked. We've been watching sports. I've been watching sports, every sport, damn near every year for the past, about to be 26, every year of my life. And the only time I remember being shocked at the winner of a game is the David Tyree helmet catch. Like that's the only professional game that I can remember where we were shocked at the winner.
Right.
If you look at March Madness, it's scrambles for the ball, it's half court shots. It's prayers that go in every year, and we're shocked by winners that's in the March Madness tournament every year. Professional sports is not giving us a turn of events to where we're surprised at who's winning games.
No Sister Mary for professionals. No 101-year-olds pulling up the
Hey, baby! Imagine Sister Mary come out. Imagine Sister Mary come out with a Dame Dollar jersey on. LeBron about to. This lady about to pass away on the court, dog. They about to do Sister Mary dirty.
Hey, Lord forgive us. Not Lord, my God. I ain't going to hell with you, big dog.
I'm knocking on wood for Guyton.
Exactly. I ain't going to hell with you, man. I can't do it. That said, Sister Mary gonna turn the ashes on the court like a Thanos snap. Come on, man. You out of control. Chris, what's the most exciting time in sports to you, man?
Well, it's a touchy subject for me because of the last 8 years. You know, the Houston Rockets, they've been exciting to watch. But now we just the Houston Rockets. We're not even the Rockets no more because they popping off in H-Town with my Rockets. So, but I'm going to have to go NBA playoffs just for the reason that Guyton touched on at the end. NBA playoffs, you get to see the egos. You get to see the ISO. You get to see when player upset. Like you said, somebody come in the gym when Brian playing the Trailblazers in the playoffs, they got a Dame jersey on. Brian gonna dunk. Matter of fact, he gonna drive down the lane, stare at the Dame jersey, and then dunk. Like, I like that type of stuff. You know, I thrive off that negativity. So that type of stuff. And then what I like about the NBA playoff, college is more so systematic to me. Like, it's a lot like the coaches don't want one player to stand out more than the rest. So they kind of make systems where all their players can thrive in, or all their main guys can thrive in. NBA, if Kyrie got it going, or Harden got it going, or AD, somebody got it going, they give him the ball and get out the way. You get to see a man versus food, literally. When you got somebody, when you AD get that switch and he on the post, you get to see that all day long. They're going to exploit that all game long. Versus in college, the other team going to be running zone. They're going to come over some help defense. You know, it's don't get me wrong. March Madness is probably second on my list, but NBA playoffs is just different. And nothing better than a Game 7 on a Sunday night. A Sunday night, Game 7, it don't get better than that, man. Especially an overtime Game 7. Oh, it don't get better than that. It don't.
You know what? I'm sorry, and I hate to do this because I wanted to go with NBA. I really did, and not even that Chris stole my answer because I had no problem going with the same answer as you. But the more I think about it, with the last few years and the way it's going, I got to go with the NFL playoffs, man. First of all, for March Madness, who wants to see Iona get beat by Alabama by 80 in the first round?
I ain't say it was my favorite. I just said it's the most exciting because it's surprises in there. It's surprises in there.
Oh, for sure, every year. But at the end of the day, like, to me, a lot of these teams we know nothing about. We don't know anything about who they are. Like, the Ohio Bobcats beat UVA. That was a huge upset. Who knew anything about Ohio? Who knew anything about them?
It's at least one school in there every year. You look at the bracket, like, this is school? Who is IUPUI?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. And I hate saying
wait a minute. Didn't D-Lo go to IUPUI?
Yeah, he did.
I don't know. I don't know.
I hate to bring this up, but did y'all see Sister Jean this year?
Come on, man. Hey, listen, we hope to live long, healthy, prosperous old lives and get to that age. But, like, honestly, when I'm 101, bro, if I'm still here, don't have me on the camera every 3 minutes, dog. Don't do that to me. At that age, I'm as down bad as I'm ever going to be in my adult life. Why would you want the camera on me all the time? You know what? We're not even going. Like I said, I'm not going to hell with Guyton. I'm not doing it. But when we look at the NFL playoffs, there have been so many upsets. There has been so many games that is just like, wait, what just happened? But, like, we know the players, and we like or dislike the players. But who disliked anybody in the NCAA? Who in the NCAA was everybody like, I hate that guy. I do not want him to win. Right. Every year, regardless of who Tom Brady plays for, America roots for him to lose. every single year, except for the people who pronounce car keys and khakis alike. Everybody roots for him to lose. Everybody else.
I mean,
And he
it's
just so happens.
kind of like that for whoever the NBA super team is, though. Like,
And that's what I'm saying. For the NBA, it's like you have the villains and all that, but at the same time, the NBA is like fairly predictable, especially over the last 8-9 years. Like whatever conference Brown is in, you know he's going to be in the finals. And then you got whatever super team has assembled on the other side.
I think it's a little different though, because I think football is a lot more polarizing than basketball. Because regardless of like what you throw out there, you gonna hate who you hate in football. Like you can hate Golden State as much as you want to. Then when you see them hit 15 threes in a quarter, you'd be like, I kind of like watching this. Like this is entertaining to watch.
Watching Brady do 5-yard check downs an entire game
Right.
is demoralizing. You want to throw the TV at, you just want to throw the whole apartment away. I don't even want to be here no more, man. So to me, the NFL playoffs is definitely the time. And you also got the guys you root for every year to some BS finna happen. You know Hollywood Brown finna drop the passes, but you still want to see Lamar throw it to him anyway. Like it's just how it works. So the NFL playoffs is most exciting for me. And now we're gonna go to the conclusion of March Madness. Now we got Gonzaga, Baylor. As we saw, Baylor dominated Houston to advance, and Gonzaga last second, Cade Cunningham, Juzang going back and forth. Cade Cunningham gets the winner off the 35-foot buzzer beater. Fellas, who you got tonight and why?
Was that Suggs? That was Suggs that hit the game
Suggs,
winner, right? Yeah. You thinking about Cunningham?
I'm sorry, wrong person. My bad.
I got Gonzaga. I had Gonzaga the whole way. Currently, my bracket is sitting at 18.2%, so my bracket is shot. But I had Gonzaga winning. So I'm sticking to that. I got Gonzaga winning. The reason I have Gonzaga winning is if you recall back when we first did our predictions, I said that the physical teams, the defensive teams, which was a lot of Big Ten teams, were defensive and physical all season. Those teams never win when it comes tournament time. You need the teams with the high firepower, and if you look at the regular season, Gonzaga was pulling off mid-80s, 90-point games on a regular, and you don't see that often out of college teams. So that offensive firepower built on top of the fact that Jalen Suggs, man, I haven't seen a college player with that much poise and confidence in big pressure situations in a long time. Usually see these games where players scrambling for the ball and they just throw a shot up there, a heave up there, and try to get it to go in. But even before he hit that half-court shot, he was hitting a lot of clutch shots to where they gave him the ball and he was just calm under pressure and he got to his spots and was knocking him down. So that offensive firepower built on top of Suggs, I don't see us a way. I know these championship games are usually pretty exciting, but I don't see us a way that's Gonzaga losing. I think they win pretty soundly tonight.
Okay, Chris, what you thinking, man?
I mean, my bracket is 47.8%. And that's because I got lucky with a lot of picks. I picked a lot of teams, but I had Gonzaga winning the whole thing. And strictly because, honestly, Gonzaga been knocking at the door for the last, let's say, 5 years. And North Carolina was down, out, man, this year. Michigan State down and out this year.
Kentucky didn't even make the tournament.
Kentucky down and out this year. And those are the teams that have been kind of getting in the way of Gonzaga. And there has been Gonzaga losing to some upset teams, but those teams been having the spotlight for the last 5 years. So this year, I felt like Gonzaga, they earned that. They worked hard this year, and they made a difference. And like Guyton said, they are a tough physical team. Like that team, they got probably 4 people that might be able to go straight to the NBA and like help out as a solid glue guy, like on that team. Like that team, and Suggs being a solid, decent player coming into the league. So,
I'll tell you what. I've got Gonzaga taking this thing only because the ghost of Adam Morrison is around every unathletic player in the Gonzaga program. He just his spirit and essence is there, just showing up and above him. Shoot the ball, bro. Shoot it. Shoot the J.
Can we take a moment here to acknowledge the fact that EA Sports ran out an entire NBA Live campaign with Adam Morrison like highlights? That's how we knew it was the beginning of the end for NBA Live.
Oh, Lord.
I know you remember them Adam Morrison commercials,
Lord.
dog.
They were so bad. That really was the beginning of the end. That really was the moment where I was like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? Let me go on over to 2K, because 2K had KG on the cover that year. Was it Chris Paul that year?
That would have
was
been
2K9, right? Yeah, that's KG.
2K9 was KG.
Yeah. That's
so, like,
I started
2K
2K and 2K8. No, 2K7. And then,
Adam Morrison, KG. Yeah,
No, I mean,
it's tough.
I was always on a 2K wave. I've been playing 2K since Dreamcast, but I used to look over there once in a while, like, oh, they got Adam Morrison commercials. Yeah, I'm on the right team.
see, I
You was
started.
on the road team for years. It just so
I was
happened
not.
you got
Hey,
to
man, I was not. Trust
What was-
me. Trust
Hold on,
me.
Live.
Trust me.
No.
Live was the go.
It was
for a
not.
minute.
You gonna lie to me and your Twitch follower. You lying to Zip Nation and go tell them
bro.
that there was something better than that
Look.
double reverse dunk off the Megatron,
Look.
off the Jumbotron. You
Look.
telling me that?
I'm trying
What,
to
a
play actual
360?
games. I'm trying to play outside of the All-Star weekend. 2K was always better than live. Game. If you want to play an
Nah,
actual
that
basketball
cover live?
game,
That
if you want
Melo
to
cover live?
yes.
Nah,
Look. You know what? I'm gonna go visit. I'm gonna bring 2K5 with Ben Wallace on the front, and I'm gonna bring Live 05 with Melo on the front. We're gonna play an actual game. 2K gameplay was killing. All Live had was All-Star
2K didn't
weekend.
have a dribble move. You just had to keep tapping the turbo button back then for the dribble move on 2K.
Okay. And it was
That was
working.
trash.
And it was working.
Embarrassing.
It was working.
You gonna lie to us like this? You done got me distracted on what we supposed to be talking about because you tell this blasphemy that 2K was. Boy, I tell you what. But anywho, we all got Baylor winning here, but this one I think is a
Gonzaga.
little.
Gonzaga.
I'm sorry, we all got Gonzaga with. My words is just coming out all jumbled up today. I had a little too much Hennessy and two-stepping last night. I ain't been right since. Apologies, friends. But now we all agree that Gonzaga is going to win this game. However, there is one thing still up in the air for Gonzaga. People are now saying that Jalen Suggs may be the better pro prospect than Cade Cunningham. Do y'all agree, or is this a prisoner of the moment type deal? What are y'all thinking?
Man, go ahead.
Somebody that rocked the Houston Rockets would be ecstatic if we got the number one pick and grab Cade Cunningham. Excuse me. Are they familiar with what Cade? First off, shout out to the NCAA for making this season even happen with Corona and college players, because we know for sure they was partying. Like, it's no doubt they was going to house parties for sure. Like, no, 100% yes.
Some players from UNC were recorded after they beat a terrible Duke team, going out and cutting up and all that good stuff. There was punishment by their now retired coach, Roy Williams. That's another story for another time. Go ahead, bro.
But yeah, so shout out to them. But don't let this fool you, bro. K is like that. Like, K comes off as a smooth, chill guy. But K is like that, bro. He's a tall guard. Tall guards is the trend in the NBA right now. If you're a tall guard, look at Luka. Luka's got the most upcoming in the league right now. Luka's a tall guard. So when you're a tall guard in this league, you're gonna come in and show up. So I think K still should be number one. Suggs is nice. Don't get me wrong. He might be a top 5 pick, but K should still be number one. I don't think they've seen K high school highlights. Like, K been bored playing with people that's his age.
Yeah.
For sure. Guys, what you thinking, man? What you thinking?
So here's how I look at it. I look at it. I'm not saying this draft is going to be as good as 2003, but I think if you look at a year like 2003, I think you could look at it as K is the Bron of this draft. And you could look at a Suggs as like a Melo or a Wade. Like, I think the first season and a half, you might get a more immediate impact just because Suggs played deeper into the tournament, just because he seems more poised under pressure. But I think if you're trying to build a franchise long term, that Cade is the obvious choice here. He got all of the tools. He got all of the skills. It just might take him a little more time to get acclimated to that NBA game, as opposed to somebody like Suggs seems to have a little more composure under pressure. So I think if you looking to get a team, I think Suggs fits a team that's more looking for one piece as opposed to looking for a cornerstone franchise kind of piece.
Right. I'm gonna throw some things out here for y'all, and I'm gonna leave it right where it is after this, okay? Now, Jalen Suggs is a baller. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not gonna lie to y'all. Not gonna sit up here and disparage this young man to praise Cade Cunningham. However, Cade Cunningham both of them are not like the rest of us. Okay, so this is not just like Guyton said. These are two guys that I think will have very long, very prosperous careers in the league. But now I'm gonna give y'all a blind test here, and you tell me who you think is the better player. 26-4, 40% from deep. 14-5-5, 33% from deep. Who would you take in that situation, right? Like, you can't go wrong with either, but just off those numbers. 26-4, 14-5-5.
I'm going with 26-4.
26-4, right? Mm-hmm. Now imagine if the 26-4 is 5 inches taller and more athletic. Like, to me,
can't go wrong with that, right?
This is one of those, like, it's like when Ohio State whooped the wheels off Clemson in the playoffs, and everybody was like, "Oh, is Jalen Fields better than Trevor Lawrence?" Slow down, Jim Shoot. Hold up, big dog. Hold up, nah. I think the world of Fields. He's not Trevor Lawrence. That's just what that is. Right. The same thing in this situation. I think the world of Suggs. I really do believe that this is a situation where if you draft anybody between those two, that player's probably going to end up being Darko Milicic. Like, that's just Cade's going number one. Suggs should be number two. If anybody else goes number two, congratulations on drafting Darko Milicic. But those are the two guys there. Suggs is a really good player. He's got a lot ahead of him. I mean,
that's what the tournament does, though. Honestly, the tournament is where you can get your name and get your draft rep up. So, I mean, absolutely.
I think both have great careers ahead of them. But 6'8", athletic, can shoot the lights out. He can do it all on the court. When I look at Cade Cunningham's game, there's literally not a single thing where I'm like, there's the weakness. There's the big hole.
I challenge our audience, go find a lot of athletes that average 20 in college that are successful in the NBA. Go find. It's not that many.
And they're not only average 20 in college, average 20 as freshmen.
Right. Freshman, right. That's what I mean.
This man came in and was the centerpiece of the team, and he still legally can't drink yet. He should not know what Bacardi tastes like. Shouldn't have no clue what it feel like to drink no type of alcohol. And here he is doing all of this. So to me, Cade is the obvious choice here, but again, I would not be surprised if they both end up Hall of Famers. And again, if you draft somebody between them, sorry, kid. Sorry to you, man. You're gonna be Sam Bowie for the rest of your life, dog. That's who you're gonna be. Is Hakeem Bowie Jordan. That's who you got right there. That's who you got.
It's gonna be a trivia question.
Exactly. So we're going to move on to the other end of the spectrum because we're talking two guys that we think are going to be great in the future. And now we got to talk to somebody who is terrible in the present. Adam Gase. Adam Gase he's one of those coaches that you think to yourself, how does he get another job? Like, he was terrible with the Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill goes on and becomes a good quarterback elsewhere.
Somehow I stand by that.
Somehow he got. I agree with you. I never disagreed. He's a good quarterback, but he somehow gets another job after that with the Jets, and now the Jets have traded Sam Darnold to the Panthers, and the Panthers gave up this year's 6th-round pick and the 2nd and 4th next year. The belief and the speculation is that he will have a similar come up post Gase to what Ryan Tannehill had. Is Gase the problem, or is this Sam Darnold just might not be as good as y'all think he is type deal?
Man,
I'll let you start this one off.
I think that's something that's yet to be determined. The fortune is not on Adam Gase's side, first of all. When you have somebody like Tannehill leave him and then is as good as he is, that's looking bad on Gase. I think that Gase is the issue, but I think we should give it a trial period here to see how Sam Darnold performs. I think that he's going to be pretty damn good in Carolina next season because I do think that Gase is the issue, but I think we need to hold a little bit to necessarily put all of the blame on him. But I know one thing that we discussed last week. If Sam Darnold goes over there and performs the way that I think he's going to perform, we need to have a serious conversation about Adam Gase finding any kind of employment ever. Like if I go to Target and this man is not my bagger, I'm gonna be upset. That's the only job he need to have after that.
Oh my God! Not the bagger. Lord Jesus, Chris, what you think, man? Is Gase the best at being a bad coach that we have seen in our lifetime? What you think?
I mean, it's he's up there. He's up there. It's definitely in the conversation. I mean, it's just like touching on our topic from last week. If y'all didn't hear our podcast last week, go check it out. We had a whole special on black coaches and how they don't really get a chance. And Adam Gase is someone that I will never understand. Like him and Matt Patricia. If both of them get a job after this, I might stop watching sports for a minute, for like a good week, because I can't last that long. But I might stop watching sports for a good week because it's just so much politics in it, dude. Like, literally, they give us one coach, Mike Tomlin. I found out last episode I found out who the black coach was in the NFL. I couldn't think of who they keep giving us and putting in the spotlight. They give us Tomlin in the NFL. And y'all know who they give us in the NBA. So I mean,
Doc Rivers.
Yeah, Doc Rivers. That's all we're gonna be the guy.
Doc 3-1 lead Rivers.
Right. So they give us those two coaches, and we supposed to be happy with that. But we got guys like Gase who, honestly, he could have got a lot more. That's just part of the reason why I'm upset with it. But honestly, did he really give Sam Darnold a chance? Like, did he have the pieces around Sam Darnold to say he's a bust? Does he have the time put into Sam Darnold to say he's a bust?
How you let Robbie Anderson walk in free agency when that was really his number one guy? How you say, like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Go on about your way. If you got a quarterback that you believe has the potential to be franchised, you surround him with weapons.
They had a running back coming off a franchise year. And they didn't even play him. You know how much that helps a quarterback when you have a running back coming off a franchise year?
Oh, trust me, a quarterback's favorite pass is a handoff. Always.
Like it's just not. I feel bad for Darnold, but I also feel bad for just like the coaches that been there, that's been black, and they can't never ever catch a break, man. Like ever. So
I'll tell you what. I believe that Darnold will be better with this team. He has a great running back in Christian McCaffrey, the guy who can do a little bit of everything. A really good receiving core. As far as I believe they lost Curtis Samuel to the Redskins. Am I correct about that? Or I believe that he's gone, but everybody else is coming back, and they got some decent weapons. They honestly and truly do. And with that being said, I believe that he'll be better off than he was in New York. But Adam Gase is awful. I don't get it. I don't like. It feels like somebody on Impractical Jokers is like behind these GMs. What you gonna do next? Hire Adam Gase. Like, and these teams just keep doing it for some reason. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But here we are again discussing Adam Gase and what he is or is not. For what, the fifth or sixth year in a row, based on what? Like, this is nonsense. And honestly and truly, I believe that Teddy Bridgewater is coming off his worst year. In his QBR was still higher than Sam Darnold's best year, which, I mean, in Sam Darnold's defense, with Todd Bowles, he had nothing there, no talent around him whatsoever. And then with Adam Gase, Mekhi Becton was graded as one of the best left tackles in all of football last year, right? So on 4th and 1, if you're the Jets, who do you run the ball behind? This massive mammoth of a man that's graded out as one of the best left tackles in all of football, right? Wrong. He ran it behind the right guard, stuff for -3 yards. That is the essence of Adam Gase. That's the essence of it. So I think anybody getting away from him, oh my God! Oh, it's got to be a breath of fresh air. And honestly, like you said, I don't even want a bag of my groceries, dog. I just don't. Because if Adam Gates is bagging my groceries, I think he gonna put the washing detergent on top of the eggs. Now, I think that's the type of guy Adam Gates is, because he can do nothing right.
We got to bring your boy Steph back on here. Let him get it out about.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Stephen Edison, you have the invite for next week. I'm gonna hit you up after this. If you're not watching, if you're not in the comments right now, because we need to hear your thoughts about these Jets. But now we're gonna move on to these NBA standings, right? Because apparently there are good teams in New York, and both of them just happen to play basketball. The 76ers, the Knicks are still in playoff contention, and the 76ers are tied with the Nets atop the East. Is it surprising that the 76ers are still holding firm at the top?
No, it's not a surprise, just because I think that the 76ers were winning games, losing games, dealing with their health concerns, and I think that we were expecting the Nets to take that leap into first place. But I think the Nets are still going with that motto that they have that switch, that they're just cruising and waiting for the playoffs to start. But I don't think we've seen the Nets that we're expected to see, and I'm not sure if we're ever going to see them, because you need to be a special team to pull off that switch, and they haven't had enough time together to know if that switch is there or not. And I don't think they have the tools to know if that switch is there or not.
I'll tell you what, I have never seen an entire team with the switch. I've seen 3 players in all my life that had the switch. And they're across different sports. But I've only seen 3 players ever with it. The only basketball player I've ever seen with that switch is Brown. I have not seen multiple hoopers who whatever. We can be out there doing good things without going, and then we a whole different player.
I've seen teams with that switch.
More power to them.
Currently? Are we talking currently or just period? Because currently, I think LeBron is the only player with that switch. But
I don't remember teams with the switch to where they could just be lollygagging and chilling.
2010 Lakers.
Okay, all right.
They definitely had that switch.
The only thing that I will say that was different about those Lakers, that was a very veteran team. That was an extremely veteran team where, I don't even know if that was a switch so much as you can't have 35-year-olds out there, you know what I mean? Expecting to ball out and then go back. That just, Paul Gasol was up there in age. That was one of Kobe's last couple years being really, really good. That was Lamar Odom. He was doing drugs. The drugs wasn't doing him yet. So it was a situation where but I do agree that I was remiss in not mentioning that Lakers team as somebody with a switch. Chris, what you thinking, man? Are you surprised that the Nets are still, that the 76ers are still at the top of the East?
No. You have a young talent in Ben Simmons. I don't know where. I'm confused with Twitter. Where did all this Ben Simmons slander come from? He's been an all-star for the last 3 years. He's defensively, it doesn't get better. Have y'all seen Ben Simmons play defense, dude?
He can't shoot, and you got to remember that basketball Twitter didn't see much basketball before the year 2015. So they didn't see an era. Yeah. They didn't see an era of basketball that we grew up on where teams were shooting 3-point attempts a game.
They didn't see that. They was not outside for 67-65 Pistons. They wasn't outside for
right.
Shooting mid-range jumpers like it's nothing. They wasn't outside.
They went there for that.
Defensively, it doesn't get better than Ben Simmons. He is 6'10" playing point guard. He can switch on to 1 through 5. He was the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's first team on defense. He's quick on his feet. He gets in the passing lane because he's so long. It doesn't get better than Ben Simmons on defense. I guess you could say Giannis, but I'm a Ben Simmons over Giannis defensively. Because Giannis, he gets a lot of steals in the passing lane, but he has defenders around him that makes it a lot easier. Ben Simmons has Seth Curry. He's barbecue chick. You put Steph Curry on the side of Ben Simmons, you don't got to worry about him being barbecue chick because Ben can get both.
8-piece nuggets with the Chick-fil-A sauce and the honey mustard on the side. Lemonade light ice.
Where did the slander and then come on now? Like everybody saw this coming. Tobias has had his best years on the Doc. Y'all didn't think that he would magically go back to being Doc. No, Tobias. They had a lot of years together. Mm-hmm. So I mean, of course, Tobias gonna show up. The only thing is, honestly, if Embiid didn't get hurt for that period of time, I think they'd still be a single-digit lost team.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you this.
Dude.
I'm gonna tell you this. This year, injuries have affected the NBA in a way that we have not seen as much recently, because between the Lakers injuries, between the 76ers injuries, between the Nets injuries, like, if you really think about it, all the teams in the league have been relatively healthy except the top dogs. And like now they're looking human, or the Lakers are looking human, but the teams on the East, there's such a gap between them and everybody else that it's like, even with Embiid out, we can win a little bit. Even without KD, we still got Kyrie and James. Even without James, we got Kyrie and KD. And,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if Embiid wasn't out, the Sixers might only have 8 or 9 losses.
You know,
let's put that in perspective.
And again, their team it's like you said, a 6'10" point guard who cannot shoot. Okay, cool, great. What do you do to a player that cannot shoot?
You go get a Curry.
Exactly. The defense is going to pack in the paint. So when the defense sagging off, pack in the paint, like, oh, we're going to build a wall. Okay, cool. Hey, who's one of the highest three-point shooters of all time by percentage? Seth Curry.
Bring him on.
That's not.
I know we bully Danny Green a lot, but you can't leave Danny Green on.
No, Danny Green missed that one shot that will forever. Danny Green's dedication to beating LeBron must be admired. It must be. When he was with the Spurs, set a record for most threes ever in the finals against those Heat. Then when he with LeBron, wide open, game 5, game winner, I'ma smoke it. Like, that's it. But Danny Green is a shooter. He's a shooter. Then you got Tobias Harris, who's rolled back the clock, somehow become the player that he was the first time under Doc. That got him this big contract. And then you got Embiid, a 7-footer that can bang in the paint, but is also shooting 40% from deep this year. Like that.
Gibbs gonna die on that mountain with that 40% from 3 off of Embiid.
That's a high clip.
A big man shooting 40% from 3 is outrageous.
But Gibbs, I'm not a believer because he's been in and out the lineup so much. That's why I'm not a believer.
I agree, but at the same time, think about what it does for a team when your 5 can both bang in the paint and
I agree. You got to guard him on the 3.
And he got a handle to where if you play him too tight on the 3, he can blow by you to the rim.
I don't think people realize on Twitter that Embiid was running away with his first MVP.
He was running away with it.
Listen. Like I was trying to argue for Bron because AD was out for so long, but Embiid came back and said 44-15. He came back and said 35 and 17. He came back and said game winning shot. I'm like, I can't argue.
When you look at a big that's doing that, you're like, oh, he must be less efficient than your average big. No, the man was on pace. He was only slightly, I want to say like 3 or 4% from inside the 3. He was only 3 or 4% below getting a 50, 40, 90. From a center. That's crazy. Crazy. You're not in your right mind to be doing that. Watching him play make me turn into Steve Harvey. You crazy as hell.
I'm sorry I gotta do this to you, kids. I really started looking at Embiid's stats when Tatum sold you. When you said Tatum was scoring more than Siakam and Embiid, when you put that bet in, I was like, Embiid dropped 29 and 3/4. I was like, yes.
And he got hurt. He went to the locker room. I'm like, oh, bet it's over. We got it. Chris texted me, the Lord is on your side today, Ken. He got you. Then I saw Embiid come back out the house. He rose up like the Undertaker. I said, bro, what is that? Why he back on the court? Why he back? Bro, no. What's
Came
going
out
on?
there and gave him 17 more points, dog.
Tatum sold me. He sold me down the river, man. He sold me down the river. But you know what though? I'm glad he did, because that right there taught me betting ain't my deal. It ain't for me. That ain't it. So to me, the 76ers, like I said, they built around Ben Simmons in a meaningful way, number one. Number two, they play great defense. In the NBA, you don't have many teams that are committed defensively. Their first guy threw about their eighth guy in the rotation. Seth Curry is still barbecue chicken, but at least he tries. Like, it's like Kelly Olynyk with the Heat. He was still barbecue chicken, but he was going to give you effort and, like, be there
Right.
to contest the shot.
Duncan Robinson with the Heat.
Exactly. Because I'm telling you, if Duncan Robinson was on the Kings, he would be a turnstile. That boy would be, it's over. As soon as somebody
he one of the ones, the screen coming, like, get the screen. Up here. I don't need no screen for this.
Hey, that's clear out time. Anytime somebody see it. So to see what they're doing defensively, and then you combine that with just basically trying on defense. I'm not surprised at all by this. I honestly am not. Are y'all surprised by the Lakers dropping to 5th without Brown and AD? I'm gonna start off by saying I am, only because I thought that this team, even without Brown and AD, there were enough pieces to where like they would be competitive. When I saw them down 20 points against the Pelicans, I said, "Yo, what's going on, dog?
No.
This ain't right."
Yeah, I believe we told you that last week. Because we said we might lose 80% of the games. The guy predicted they'd be in the 6th seed, so they doing a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that roster, they're not better than any team in the West except for Minnesota and Houston, maybe. Just like from a talent standpoint.
You have to say that, but
but here's my thing. I knew that they weren't gonna be like. I said that was a best case scenario that they beat all those teams. But like worst case scenario, I'm like, oh, they're gonna lose a lot of games. Mm-hmm. No, they're getting smoked. It's getting ugly. Oh my god.
The offense gets stagnant. You need a bucket. Who you giving the ball to?
THT.
Come on, man. Come on, man. And
the thing is, I thought Dennis Schroeder would be like, 20, 25.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He barely getting 18 a game without LeBron AD.
See, so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with a player like Schroeder. Even though he's been in situations before where you can give him the ball and he can give you a bucket on occasion, you're 40 games into a season to where LeBron is your primary ball handler and you're moving through the sets of the offense hoping to get a spot-up shot. When you've been playing like that for 40 games, it's kind of hard for Brian to go out and you give him the ball and be like, hey, do what you did 2 seasons ago. His rhythm isn't the same, and it's not going to be the same.
That's true. So maybe, here's the hope if you're a Lakers or Brown fan. Here's the hope. The hope is that in their absence, these players figure out what to do without them and elevate their games a little bit. So when they come back, all these players are just a little bit better than they would be if, like Guyton said, you might run a set or two, but for the most part is, hey, get AD the ball in the paint, bro. Run that high pick and roll. If they cover it well, good. Let AD post up. Go ahead and give it to him in the paint. Somebody gonna be open because they're gonna double AD. So I mean that's just my thought on that. And next we
close it with a bang.
We talk. Close it with the biggest of bang. Close it with a bang, bro. See, darn it. We were just talking about Brown, but we got to go to one of his biggest detractors now. The one and only Mr. Paul Pierce, formerly of Celtic fame, the most magnificent championship run apparently that we've ever seen. By the way that they talking and by the way that they acting on the gram, Paul Pierce. He threw himself a little party. There was a little bit of the devil's lettuce involved. That's marijuana, to those of you who don't know what that is. And there were also some scantily clad women. They were in bikinis, and they were doing some very salacious gyrating. Okay, and apparently, Disney who owns ESPN, had a problem with that, and now Paul Pierce is out at ESPN. Was this a dumb move by Paul Pierce? And is there a check from Barstool on the way? What y'all thinking?
Yes, it's a dumb move, Paul Pierce. But I think we're looking at it in a different lens because it doesn't shock us. We're not surprised. I think this is an amalgamation of Paul Pierce's behaviors ever since Boston traded him. Like we've been seeing just little behaviors out of Paul Pierce over the course of the past 10 years that's led to this moment, and we're not surprised by it.
Over or under if he had the 08 ring on? Over or under?
Oh my God! Oh my God! You know he had that ring on. You know
he probably around his neck on a chain.
You know he just so lame. You know he wanted to. He walk up to get. Hey, baby, mess with the NBA champ. Come on, man. I'm the truth. I'm an NBA champ, man.
Bro. Paul Pierce is so lame, dude. Like, the stuff Paul Pierce says, even his co-host on the show laugh at him. Like, I remember, I don't know if y'all, the audience remember. I know y'all remember. He went on there, he was like, yeah, between me and D-Wade, my career was better. His host was like, Paul Pierce, Paul. Dwayne Wade? It's like, yeah, look at my stats compared to these stats. It's like,
stats was better than
Dwayne Wade?
Barry Allen or Wally West? Because you can't be talking about Dwayne Wade.
They said Dwayne Wade? And then he was like, yeah. And then D-Wade, I think he made a tweet or something. He was like, no comment or something like that, and then he posted like a picture of him and Brian hold the championship trophy or something like that. But
so you walk into the food spot or whatever, and they got the little TVs up with the slideshow of the food and the menu and everything. You think if you walk in Paul Pierce spot, it's just like a slideshow of highlights and like the 08 the parade.
Hey, it's the one game winner over Ron Artest where he pulled the shorts down, and then that's. I want to let the fans in on something right now, okay? I don't know if y'all can see this or not. Where's it at?
We can see it.
43 years old. That man is 43. Again, if this was one of the young guys in the NBA, if this was Jackson Hayes, if this was Zion, if this was Buddy Hield, if this was somebody who like they just now are stepping into fame and money and all that good stuff. Hey, I get it. Yeah, I mean, like you give most 19, 22-year-olds
I ain't gonna count to you. I would have a boiler night if I got that type of money. You know what
That's what I'm saying. But guess what, Chris? When you've been in that life for about, I don't know, 18 years, at that point, I think you haven't slowed down. And here's the most Paul Pierce fact about the whole thing. Y'all ready? Zip Nation, y'all ready? Here's the most Paul Pierce fact about the whole thing. He took the young women's phones and made them sign NDAs to get on Instagram Live. No, I don't want you telling nobody what we finna do. If somebody go find out about it, I'm gonna tell them what we do. I'm gonna tell them we smoking weed. I'm gonna tell them and again, I'm not gonna say that there was any other drugs involved. I don't know, but you got to be, what Judge Mathis say? I know a crackhead when I see one. I know one. You had to be, because ain't no way you telling me with a straight face at 43 years old, that's what you're doing. And not only is that what you're doing, because trust me, I understand. I've been to different events with older gentlemen who, they have money, status, all that. It's a thing that happens, sure. They don't do the phones and recording and all that. They definitely not hopping on IG Live at 43 years old.
Man, we are just looking at the longest midlife crisis that we've ever seen. But all the only behavior we've seen out of Paul Pierce, like for example, if you're not a basketball fan and you're like in the social media bubble, the only thing you know Paul Pierce for is for doing corny stuff to prove that he's cool.
You know what? And I'm gonna say this, and I mean this. He is to basketball what the game is to rap. He really is.
Facts.
The game, if you really think about it, the documentary in LAX, 2 instant certified hood classics.
Yep.
The documentary did not have one miss on it. But if you ask kids today, what is he known for? Oh, he the one that lied and said his son wanted to wear Nipsey Blue and ride in the Nipsey Blue whip for Nipsey, right? He the one that's talking about some 43 years old, talking about some women are like the state fair. Nobody wants your wiener unless you got bread. Like, he's the one talking about these kids don't know. Paul Pierce was actually a problem back in the day. He really was. He was a really good
His
player.
name is true for a reason.
He was a really good player. He was probably, and we talked about Roy Williams earlier, he was probably Roy Williams' only player who had a really good career in the pros out of those Kansas teams. He was probably the only one. And now what do people know him for? This. Booties and buttons.
Bro, I promise you, if they show that ring on his finger and any more footage we get, I promise to God I'm going to lose it. Because he's still celebrating that 08 ring.
Oh, absolutely. He ain't never stopped celebrating. He celebrated while he was on the Nets. That was the problem. That was the problem, man. But anywho, let this be a lesson, okay? Because we're going to take it all the way back to the beginning when we was talking about the verses. And we talk about the old school. We need to know y'all. Listen, please, if there's one thing that I advise people my age and younger, and apparently older, because Paul Pierce is 18 years older than me, old enough to be my dad, and apparently I got to tell him this. Please understand. If we know you human, you're going to live your life, you're going to do your thing. Don't record it. Don't stream it on IG Live. Because I'm going to tell you, he definitely going to get a bag from Barstool. But the Barstool bag don't hit like a Disney bag. You can't tell me the lie that it do. You can't tell me that. You cannot. Ain't a world that... Listen. All he had to do was sit there and keep saying corny stuff and hating on LeBron. And he was going to have a job till he was 60. Now look at you.
Kendrick Perkins.
Exactly, Kendrick Perkins. Now look at you. You're unemployed at 43 again, messing around with the... And I don't even want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, and judge me if y'all want, but I'm going to say it. This strippers is shaped like lowercase L's, man. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. You got caught up with some strippers that's built like they prepubescent, bro.
Hey man, he just got what he could, man. He just got what he could. You know what?
I know y'all tired of us talking about Paul Pierce, talking about the tournament, talking about all this nonsense. So we're gonna let y'all go, but keep on coming back next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.
You had enough. I know